Hey everybody, it's Drew from DREWFAB. So after my last video, I realized that I didn't tell you anything about me and why it was important to listen to me, or even why I have any credibility or any of my experience. So I wanted to take a video and talk a little bit about myself and bring to light some of the things that I've done and give everybody an understanding of who I am, what I've done, where I've come from, things like that. So I was born and raised in San Diego, specifically Lakeside, California. That's where my shop is now. So when I was going to college, I got really interested, or actually before I started college, right before I graduated high school, I got really interested in fabrication. Monster Garage was on at the time, American Chopper, American Hot Rod, all those were on, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. So I started pursuing it as wanting to learn and wanting to do some of this stuff. So I started out with a Harbor Freight MIG welder as a gift, and I bought a Harbor Freight chop saw, and I just kind of snowballed from there, so to speak. So I started out when I was 18 years old. Right when I started college, I started learning how to weld, specifically TIG welding at the time. I thought I had MIG welding down pat. Didn't really, but needless to say, I have learned that in the last 10 years. So I've got some pretty significant fabrication experience. Like I said, I've been doing it for about 10 years. I worked in the off-road industry for several guys here in East County, San Diego, as well as a couple of drag car shops. And then because of the drag racing is my passion, I've worked around drag cars and drag racing pretty much my whole life. So I started doing drag racing when I was 8 years old. I had a junior dragster, and my dad's been building cars. Like, he's a hot rodder, old 70s hot rodder, and been drag racing forever. I started building cars when I was a little kid. So it was just kind of a natural segue to do the drag racing. And so I've been doing that, like I said, since I was 8, and I continue to do that on a frequent basis, and I love doing it. Drag racing is my passion. Always will be. Off-road's cool, all that stuff is cool, but it's my passion. So like I said, I started welding about 10 years ago. Learned how to TIG weld from a friend of mine, Kirk's Radiator, Ryan Newkirk, actually. Really good friend of mine. Started out doing exhaust work and radiators and things like that, doing aluminum welding. And today I can do aluminum, stainless, titanium, Inconel, chromoly, a little bit of everything. I've played around with some other stuff, done some Nyrod 44 on some cast iron, things like that. MIG, stick, TIG. Most prolific with the TIG, second most prolific with the MIG. They're kind of on par. Stick I'm a little bit unsure of in some cases, but I've done it, I can do it. Not certified, never had the reason to get certified. There's been a couple times recently where I thought about maybe getting a certification for different things, but nonetheless, doesn't mean I can't lay down a good quality bead. I have had a couple of welds cut up here and there just to see what they're doing, and they look pretty good. As far as machining is concerned, I started doing a machining apprenticeship while I was in college. So I did 2 years of apprenticeship there under a machinist that actually worked at San Diego State, actually. He'd been a machinist for about 35, 40 years, give or take a few. Started at NASCO and moved around San Diego. Really good guy, became a really good friend of mine, good mentor. And he taught me how to make pretty much anything you want on a manual machine. So after that, I started kind of getting really interested in machine work and how that couples with fabrication. And to me, when you start learning the ins and outs of machining and how to be really precise with stuff, it helps you with fabrication. And so kind of continued to snowball from there. And so when I graduated college, I ended up getting a job for working for Solar Turbines here in San Diego. I still work there today. I got a job as a manufacturing engineer, and today I work as a manufacturing engineer in our R&D machine shop, working primarily with additive manufactured or 3D printed parts, metal 3D printed parts. So being in Solar Turbines, being in the aerospace industry, has really given me an opportunity, some exposure to very highly precision parts, highly precision stuff, as well as taught me how to work with highly difficult to work with materials, just from, not that I'm actually machining some of them, because at work I can't, unfortunately, but I've seen people do it, and I've learned how to teach people how to do that kind of stuff and how to be an engineer. So kind of circling back to my college, I've mentioned this several times. So I did go to San Diego State University. I do have a degree in physics, and like anybody that's been in the industry knows, your degree is great, it's awesome, it does a lot of things for you, it opens a lot of doors. However, it's only about 10% of the knowledge. I have learned, I can't tell you how much since I've been in industry from actually doing this stuff, and not just my day job, from actually doing this on the side too. So I do the machine shop and the fabrication stuff on the side. And as far as capabilities, you know, in my shop we can do CNC machining. Got a CNC mill, got a manual mill, manual lathe, got a manual surface grinder, so we can do quite a bit. Pretty much anything you can do in any other shop. It might just take a little longer because we've got more manual equipment than anything else. And then as far as welding, MIG, TIG, stick, you know, it kind of runs the gamut. So it's really been, you know, a fun thing for me, and it's something I really enjoy. It's my passion in life is cars and fabrication, machining, and it's something that I have decided I wanted to share with everybody else and try and impart a little bit of the knowledge that I've gained over the years to other people. I've seen with my dad, who's not as practiced in the machining and fabrication world as me, and what my knowledge has helped him understand and helped him be better at what he does with his job as well as with the automotive stuff that we do together. And so the last thing I want to talk about is 3D printing. It's kind of a new thing. It's what I do for a day job with metals mostly. We do plastics too. I actually do that here at the shop too. So I do kind of a little bit of everything. I do design, I do welding, I do fabrication, I do machining, I do engineering work, CAD work, a little bit of all of the above. I work with SolidWorks and Fusion 360 for my Fusion 360 is my CAM software. So I've kind of done a little bit of everything, and that's where my breadth of knowledge, not necessarily depth, but breadth of knowledge comes from, is being able to have touched all these different industries and all these different backgrounds. So thanks. Hope that this was a little bit of insightful into who I am and, you know, what I'm about, and I hope to share some more information with you. Thanks.